We have not observed physically the conduct and the character and the ways of the Prophet ﷺ directly. So we have second-hand information, meaning someone narrated something, someone mentioned something, and then we know. In that regard, the Sahaba Ikram Rizwanullah alayhim ajma'in, they did extraordinary effort to document each act and conduct of the Prophet ﷺ as much as they could, even to the very, very slightest detail, as you are all aware that they even mention which foot a person should extend and go out of the masjid. Let's say one is exiting, which, for example, foot one should actually place first in when one is going for relieving oneself, etc., etc. So this means that they were observing everything and noting, and even during the tashahhud, the finger of the Prophet ﷺ, that he, on a particular time, he ﷺ in tashahhud raised his finger. Now, that is also such that there are in ahadith, when we read in different, there are almost 8 different ways and narrations how to. This means that when any Sahabi radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he looked at the Prophet Islam, how he did, he just actually narrated that. Then their students, the tabi'een and the imams of fiqh, they actually documented it in their own way. So some mention in the beginning you do, some mention this. But this shows that how in detail and minutely the Sahaba Ikram Rizwanul Ajma'in noted what the Prophet Islam did. And they were not such people that who would note and would not do. Seeing meant doing for them, not thinking, like in the Quran it comes in the sifat of the blessed followers of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, sami'na wa ata'na, that we've heard and it's done. It's not we'll think about this and etc., etc. So his conduct with the other people, was also noted very, very graphically, with very much detail, because we have to sometimes just read and also read in between the lines that how the Prophet ﷺ reacted, or what was his conduct. What was his conduct in that regard. And it's also left to the imagination to actually imagine, because in the books ये जो echo और bass है ना, उसको कम कर दे, सिर्फ bass को ये जो आवाज आ रही, that when in the books the feelings and emotions cannot be communicated as actually it is one sees, because the feelings are hidden thing, emotions mostly are hidden, etc., etc. But when one reads a hadith, then one can and one should actually think and deeply reflect the scenario. So this is a hadith which today we are going to learn from the conduct of the Prophet ﷺ. But before that, he alayhi salatu wasalam also mentioned that criteria is that your conduct, if you are a good person, your conduct will be good with the people who you mostly interact with, very frequently interact. Who are those people? Let's say who you work with. Who are those people? If you are living in your sibling, then it is your sibling. If you are living with your spouse, then it is your spouse. If you are living with parents, they are parents. And if you are living somewhere where you have neighborhood, it will also be your neighborhood as well. Especially the people who are living in the household. That is the ultimate criteria. Because remember, many people think at the home there are such women who are abusing their husbands who are abusing women, their wives are such thinking that no one is watching and what can they do. Remember, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching, and when Allah is seeing, He does not only see, He also actually takes action. See, one is that one person is seeing, oh, something is being done, or it's okay. Okay. But Allah, when Allah Azza wa Jal is all seeing, He's all knowing, it's not that no action is taken. It is the result, the consequence also actually are decided as well. They might appear sooner, later, whenever, but at that time action is taken as well. So that is coupled with the thought that Allah is seeing me, with that Allah will take action in my favor or against me, that then actually holds or instills the thought in a person of some accountability. Otherwise, if you think the camera is seeing, okay, the camera is seeing, there is speeding camera, but no one is going to take action. It's never observed by someone. It's never giving feedback to anywhere. No one is going to send a ticket or anything. You know, what effect will that have? The camera is there when you know, yeah, it just flashes, and after that nothing happens. So people will actually just take advantage, and that it's as though it's not there. So that's why when we say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is seeing, it doesn't mean only He's seeing with His one sifa of seeing. When He is seeing, His all sifat actually, His being is seeing, and meaning Allah is seeing, Allah is helps people. His sifa of actually qahariyat, His sifa of aziz, of actually His sifa of qudra, His quality of all other qualities. A person, more he realizes, the more effect actually it takes. Otherwise, you will see, yes, I am thinking Allah is seeing me, hearing me. But when you are not thinking about any action, the af'al of Allah, then what will Allah do after He sees? When He sees, then it will not have the desirable effect. So, the best conduct is shown to the people who are close to you, and especially when they are behaving in a way which is not the right, which is not the good, or which does not, which you do not like, and these things. But with generally interacting with people, Imam Nasa'i mentioned this hadith, number 5304 in his book, from Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, that they narrate, Hazrat Abbas and Sayyidina Abdullah radiallahu ta'ala, they narrate that the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam once wore a ring. Like, he alayhi salatu wasalam did not wear it for adornment. There was a need to wear it. because actually it was used as a official government stamp for communication amongst the kings and governments. Because he lived in Mecca when he was a tradesman, when he was a tajir, when he was young. You see, when he was seeing the bazaars of Mecca and Syria and Sham and had abundance of finance and money and trading, if he had natural inclination toward this, at that time was the time when there was no even wahi yet has come, that he would wear ring one or two. We don't find that. Even when the wahi began, and when he, alayhi salatu was 40 years old, after that we don't find. Only when in Madinah al-Munawwara, he alayhi salatu migrated, and there he didn't wear as well. When the Sahaba Ikram, the ambassadors mentioned that the other people, other governments will not accept letters without a stamp meaning actually a seal. So that's when it was actually prepared. That's why it was also, it was written as Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he wore anyway he wore a ring once. He alayhi salatu wasalam was sitting with the companions. Then he alayhi salatu wasalam himself said, "This ring diverted my attention from you. I look at it and then at you." Meaning I'm also looking at the ring sometimes and also at you, because the ring is beautiful. As the ulama sharihin of Shamail, they say that Prophet ﷺ was such a personality, anything would look beautiful on him. The thing increased in its beauty when it went closer, or Prophet ﷺ wore something, even a simple cloth, even a simple ring, even something simple. Because actually many things a person is adorned by himself, or adorned by, decorated by, but many things get adornment from actually the wearer. If the wearer is beautiful, so Prophet ﷺ was handsome, were in a very, you may say, complete and perfect way. His beauty was portrayed in all dimensions. So anything would look beautiful. That's how many people get actually, you may say, deceived, not too deceived, but actually misinformation, because the companies, when they advertise things, they might actually show things on a models or certain things, for example, men or women. And men and women who look at it, they think we'll look like that as well. But when they order and they get that thing, they never look anything like that. Then they say, what's that? It's not, the thing is the same, but it's actually the personality. So one should look at oneself, what suits oneself actually. They got models and anything, even the models they have, they would wear anything, meaning it will look attractive, because so many angles have been actually, you may say, measured, so many lighting, studio thing, makeup and thing, etc., etc. And then, you know. So, he alayhi salatu wasalam said that he said this. He could have done this without saying. Now he's giving a lesson that this ring is diverting my attention from you. I look at it and then at you. Then he put it aside. Then he put aside actually somewhere away. So in this hadith we learn that when we are sitting with someone, we should be paying attention to them and not fiddling around here and there with the pen for example, or a book, for example, or more, we can understand this more now these days with the mobile phone. Let's say this hadith can apply on there as well, or a watch or whatever, especially mobile, because that's a distraction, and many people, many friends, parents, spouses, others, even work colleagues, even police, even the government, they are actually always complaining that this is diverting the attention of drivers. People are driving and they are diverted attention. People are in planes, people are walking, off the cliffs by actually walking in front of cars, sitting, 3-4 people are sitting in a room, and none of them, they are all in communication with people who are distant from them, and who are closer to them, they are not in communication. So you see this often actually sometimes with other things as well, we can be other, but in our times, you may say, people are distracted by rings, because at that time there was no technology, nothing much was actually available. So even things like rings and simple patterns used to actually also have effect. But now, because of the graphics and technology and things, especially so, it is giving us the conduct of the Prophet Islam, and it is also then giving us a lesson. He alayhi salatu wasalam himself is giving a lesson, okay, that when you are sitting with someone, when you are talking to someone, when you are sitting with a person, you should not be on the phone or attending even your phone or looking into the phone. It is utmost disrespect for that person and that human being. If one needs, there are ways to do. For example, if you are sitting for a long while and now you can ask the person that if they want to ask anything, if they want to talk about anything, and then mention, I have some work to do or I have a phone call to make, please excuse me, then this is the way. But if, especially when someone is talking, someone is sitting and they might want to talk to you, they might want to actually say something to you, then actually a person should not use, especially in the majalis of knowledge like we are sitting here, person is in the majlis of ilm, even dhikr with the tongue is not actually encouraged. It is actually to listen very carefully. One Sayyidina Abu Umama radiallahu anhu, he was doing dhikr. Prophet ﷺ said that, why are your lips moving? He said, I'm doing dhikr, I like dhikr very much. He said, okay. Prophet ﷺ said, you don't have to all the time to do this. I will teach you a dhikr you can do at your own time. Few seconds, few minutes, and it will cover, it's as though that you are in dhikr 24 hours. It will outweigh that. That was a polite way to say to him that which is that at the moment when I am speaking, when you are in the Majlis Muhammadi, that actually then you should listen carefully. Like the khutbah and things, or when Prophet Islam speaks. But this was another conduct we find, that how he said this to him. Instead of saying to him that you shouldn't be doing dhikr, you should be listening to me, this is one way to say. But he took into consideration his psychology and what he was doing. He was doing something good. But at that time, it's not the most appropriate thing to do, because when Rasulullah ﷺ speaks, it's mentioned even in the Fuqaha, even if a person is in Salah, he can answer. He have to answer, because this happened once. Prophet ﷺ called someone and they didn't respond. The Prophet ﷺ asked him, Rabbi, you didn't respond to me, and he said, I was in Salah. And then he ﷺ recited a verse, and the verse in the Quran, that when Allah and Rasul call you, then you should answer. This means that calling of Rasulullah ﷺ is calling of Allah Jalla Majduhu, because he is the representative, he is the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this also majalis of knowledge and others, a person should fully paying attention to that, and also especially as I mentioned, very common problem, I think, which distracts us is iPad and mobile phone and things. If you want to use, good, there's no harm, but ask the other person if they have a need, they want to speak to you. If they don't, if they say, no, we are fine, then even ask that I am just doing something, if you don't mind. Then, alhamdulillah, you are fine, you are doing something. Sometimes people are sitting with each other, they are not talking. They want to be in the reflection. And if this person wants to be on phone, good and well. But after fulfilling the rights of actually, so especially after that time of prayers, attending in the masjid, attending phone calls, unless a person is from fire service or like emergency or special thing, for that, then there is some flexibility. But for others, like in Salah, one is not. Because the knowledge, majlis of knowledge is so much. The Sayyidina Abdullah bin Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu actually once was speaking and someone said, Salah, the prayer time, it was Maghrib time. And he didn't respond. And again he said, oh, Namaz time, 20 minutes has passed. Like some people have this, they're irritated or somehow. Their irritation is, motive is right, they want to perform Salah, but the knowledge is not with them, that Salah can be, meaning actually read after, meaning after 20 minutes, half an hour, it can be delayed. So Hazrat Abdullah bin Abbas radiallahu anhu had to say to that person that the Prophet al-Islam actually prayed and prayed together even without actually suffer, even without actually khawf as someone, meaning actually that if it's a Maghrib time, person can read half an hour, 40 minutes, 5 hours. Because the majlis of ilm, he thought that this is something very, very important, so much so that there was actually there. So that is sometimes ulama are doing speech and thing, and the salah time is coming, and then there are one or two, maybe they've never prayed themselves salah with jama'ah or anything, but they say, oh, namaz ka time ho gaya ji, namaz ka time ho gaya. No, because that is very important, the majlis of ilm. Here, the person who is speaking, they also know it is salah and it is salah time and things. But anyway, this is a general kind of which we should convey to people in these times, that look how Rasulullah sallallahu how he even took off the ring. We should also take off the mobile phone, put it out pocket and things, and not actually, you may say, be distracted or show any disrespect to people. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala firstly enable myself and yourself to act upon it. Subhanaka Allahumma bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. हाँ, ये अज़ान दे दें और फिर सुन्नतों के बाद फिर नमाज. I know I'm waiting for something to happen to me.